Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week's live reaction or read-through for Reiwa no Dara-san, and we are starting Volume 4 as we've been doing previously. I feel like splitting the volumes into thirds has been really good pacing, so I'm going to continue with that and read the first third of Volume 4. So we should probably be doing chapters 26, 27, and 28. I am excited. Physically, volumes 1 and 2 got here last week. I know I showed off volume 3. Because my shelf is behind my setup, I don't really feel like reaching past my mic and camera and everything to grab them, but 1 and 2 finally got here, so now all of them are here. I'm not sure when 4 comes out in English, but usually with the way manga releases go, there's usually at least a few months between them, and volume 3 just came out, so gonna be probably at least until next month, until volume 4 is out, but whenever it is, I'll probably grab that physically too as soon as I can. So since I can't have it officially yet, we are doing the scans here for volume 4, and they have been good too. I really love the official translation, so I can't wait to go back through and read volume 3 officially, of course, since I have it physically. I think that the official translation's been amazing, which is very good. So I'm excited to do that, and also excited here to read the scans because they've been great too. They clearly care about what they're doing with the series and all. And generally, all of my praises remain the same. The story's great, the art is great, the structure is amazing, and the general ideas that the series puts forward, so good. So with that all aside, I actually think this time around, I don't really have a long intro or anything. Last time we got to do the volume bonuses, and I have got to say, every single time so far, the volume bonuses have been some of the funniest chapters. They've been some of the best chapters. So once again, that was amazing. But either way, I guess where we left off, we weren't in the middle of anything that I remember story-wise, so I wonder what we'll end up with. Either way, I am excited to see some more of the newer characters that we haven't seen a lot of yet. Like, I mean, technically we've barely seen any of Nagi, really. But I was thinking characters like Amane, where we've really only had 2, maybe 3 chapters with any sort of focus. So seeing some of the characters we already have, of course, more of the main trio is always amazing because I love them. But also some of the characters that we've really barely seen, like that have been background characters. I wonder if we'll do more with them, but either way, let's go ahead and start reading with chapter 26. We start off in the flashback as usual. As their investigation into the cursed right arm persisted, Jurota, who had been exposed to the leaking miasma, felt as if he was being called out to. He could sense that much. By all accounts, you shouldn't respond to calls from monsters with bizarre origins. Doing so is an act of accepting them and their invitation to come in. Your limbs would be twisted, mangled, and crushed due to the curse, and in the end you would lose your life. To reach your hand out to something as calamitous as that would be considered an act of suicide. But even so, he reaches out. Suddenly the cursed arm's fingertips entwined around Jurota's arm very slightly. They wriggled as if trying to check for something, his arm scorched by the excessively dense miasma. How strange, I don't feel any pain. Gradually became numb and began to warp. I had mentioned a bunch back before we got to this point where I was like, I really hope even after the incident we continue with the flashback story, and I'm so glad that we have. Their arms, twisting and entangling, began to take on a grotesque form. I see now. That's what it was. As the curse eroded his own arm, the feelings dwelling in the right arm flowed into him. A secret desire to be with Jurota, a life with him she resigned herself to believe she could never have. These wishes the younger priestess had suppressed turned into a warped obsession that swirled within the cursed arm. If I had only a little more courage, I could have spared you from those feelings of deceit. And again, not only is it nice that we continue it and all, but once again, the storytelling and the art are just amazing. Again, pretty brutally, his arm is getting destroyed. When that supernatural thing settled down, Master, what's the matter, Jurota? You're out late. It turned to stone. It appears that it attached itself to my shoulder. Jurota carried that strange stone back with him. And we have a frontispiece of Nagi. I don't remember her having all of that. Damn. And we have coming at Saeko-chan. I heard you had today off. So we have Chio, I think was the mom's name. We have Chio and Nagi. I brought the merchandise you asked for from the live event a few days ago. Here's the receipt. Thanks, sorry to make you go out of your way. Come on in. Pardon the intrusion. I can't wait for Liz's homecoming concert this year, right? And, not Liz, Ooze. Okay, so that is just Yuzi. Yuzu, for the pronunciation. A rock band from this town. Their love for their hometown is so strong that they always come back in the winter to put on a free concert, no matter how busy their schedule is. Well, that doesn't really concern me at all. We got Dada's reaction. What's going on? What's going on? And the feet bros always being pandered to, though I guess Dara herself can't pander to them whatsoever, so... sorry about that. I let my guard down without thinking, and my transformation got undone. Your guard? For example, even if I'm invited in, whenever I enter someone's home, I'm only temporarily overriding that indoor space's human domain with my own. Even though I'm known as a cursed god, I'm still classified as a spirit, and a member of the priesthood has now entered my domain. Even if that priestess has no spiritual sense, how could anyone possibly approach me without feeling any discomfort? I'm going to head to the shrine for a bit. Count me in, we're going too. On second thought, I should have just left without saying anything. Her face. I love Dara-san's reactions to everything. During the festival and New Year's visit, I seemed to be accepted by Hirehiro Shrine, and this shrine maiden entered my own domain as if I accepted her into it. Something seems strange about that. Come to think of it, I never did ask about whatever it is that's enshrined here. What exactly are they praying to here? A great languid elf knight housewife goddess? A famous one? Put a bit more effort into your lies, please. And damn the heft. Nice. They put out pamphlets over there. That's my genius sister. Let's see, what's enshrined here? The Shusaijin goddess Amayatsu Koharume no Kami and the Haishin god Tokanehiko no Kami is what it says. And then translator's note, Shusaijin, chief deity of the shrine, and Haishin, an auxiliary deity of a shrine. Okay, so the main and the auxiliary one. Got it. Seems like they're gods of peace and fertility, and of craftsmanship and home protection respectively. Actually, what was it called again? Votive Kagura or something? Where they performed the thing about defeating the serpent? Isn't that basically the story about the first time you defeated that little snake? Maybe. So, the Tokanehiko, and is the Tokanehiko actually going to be, Jurota? And the Amayatsu Koharume is that... Yeah, and you see, too, it looks like Dara. I think, again, because they said peace and fertility, is that going to be Dara? Or at least the idea of her original priestess self. And then the Tokanehiko, because they said it's craftsmanship and home protection. That Jurota was a carpenter, right? And we even see with the Tokanehiko, the to part is the same as the Ju in Jurota's name. So I think it's them from that. Then, the story that your grandfather told you is a bit different from reality. That'll happen when a story gets passed down for hundreds of years. Some things might get embellished, abbreviated, or conveniently changed. So what you're saying is, if we try really hard now, then in hundreds of years, Dada's story could be the space shrine maiden who wielded the power of the cosmic snake god, who single-handedly annihilated hordes of space yokai in galactic battle, or something like that. Why would I end up in space? Again, I love all of their faces and everything. It's so good. Then we see Spacesuit Dara-san. Well, Dara-san, are you done with what we came here to find out? Yeah, the Yamatagi Madara, known to modern times, is a vengeful curse god born from the act of the serpent's slaughter of the twin priestesses and the assimilation that ensued. That being the case, this shrine must be for the deity who later sealed Yamatagi Madara away. But the truth is most likely that someone knew that I was protecting the serpent's seal. They changed my name in my story, but I'm still the one they worship here, which is the reason why I was not rejected by the shrine precinct, or something to that effect. I have become the mayor of this town, having secured the election. And okay, before I continue with that joke, this could be a hint to her real name then, because again, this makes sense. So she is also this god. She is the original priestess and the vengeful spirit and the Yamatagi Madara, and also now the, what was it called? The Amiyatsu Kaharuyume no Kami. And I was saying, could this be a hint at her name? Because the name that comes from this would have been made up by the hundreds of years passed down through telephone. But originally, if this was set up by her master and Jurota, they would have known her real name. So this could be a hint at her human name, Amiyatsu Koharume. Could her real name have been Koharu, even? That might be too, modern of a name for that to have been her name back then, but you get my point. This could be a hint at whatever her name was. Because the Tokane Hiko is written with some of the same characters as Jurota. So, and of course, like I said, because it was set up by Jurota and the master. But continuing the joke, I've become the mayor of this town, having secured the election, and I'd like to announce a Moe character town revitalization project. We've got the the Shrine Maiden Sisters and Dara-san. They hit all the right bullet points, but there's a bit of character overlap. Well, they're all me, she thinks. And wow, very good, Moe Dara-san. Fufu, maybe that's not such a bad idea, says Nagi, coming into scene. The Shrine Maiden girl. You're Chiyo-san's kids, right? We met at the flea market. Let's pay our respects to the shrine and head home. Two bows and two claps, one bow. Good effort. Well, for now, just forget about the exact etiquette. It's the feeling that counts. See you later. Come back to watch the final dance or whenever else you feel like it. My curiosity may be getting the better of me, but since I've already come this far, I can't help but wonder, what did they enshrine here? And she's sneaking in, but is alerted by a door sliding. Someone's out this late? A silent ritual, no chance or anything. And Nagi comes in and bows. I see, tonight's a full moon. It's been said since ancient times that moonlight uplifts spiritual power. Seems like the object is bathed in moonlight and then cleansed. That's a strange thing to do. There's a possibility that I'm not the one enshrined here at all. To willfully open the Hishiro is almost in itself like a burglary, and then the container that holds the sacred object. This is a twisted stone? It's like two different colored stones twisted together. This certainly doesn't look like something created naturally. Okay, so Dara isn't even aware of it. So her arm is in the other shrine, right? Her left arm or whatever that's maintaining the seal on the head or whatever. Is in the shrine that she's used to, but here in this other shrine are the right arm combined with Jurota's arm. And that's why the two of them are the gods here. But somehow it makes me feel nostalgic. But also, even though it had her will in it, Dara-san doesn't actually have any actual memory of it, any consciousness. And then she's affected by the clapping of Nagi's hands in prayer. With just a single clap, the space inside the main hall was purified. Even I, with my formidable spectral presence, couldn't maintain my invisibility technique against something like that. That Nagi, I think she was called. Can she really not have any spiritual sense at all? Regardless of the truth of the matter, Could it be, or could it really be that she wasn't merely seen as something to be feared? As much as this revelation brought her joy, she also thought there was some unnecessary stuff thrown in, and we have, there won't be any divine punishment, right? It'll probably be fine. So, the Moe sort of revitalization project with Kaoru being spread to Naomichi. Okay. That was a really, really, really good chapter. Again, the comedy is very funny. The serious stuff is incredibly well written. And I love a lot of the things we got into. I've mentioned a lot how Dara-san's sense of identity is such a huge part of the story. I'm interested in the stuff with Nagi, and this just deepened the lore of the town so much more. And again, I love the idea that, you can have a fantasy world where you do all this big, grand world building and stuff, but I just love how deep and well done the world building has been using this town as the world, essentially. There's so much depth to the hundreds of years of history that this town has, and how everything works with the spiritual stuff that's going on in the town. It's so well done. And the art, I think especially or particularly, like, it's always been really, really good, but I think this chapter, the art and the paneling is great. So yeah, amazing job with this chapter. I thought it was great, and we still have some more to read, so let's go check out chapter 27. We're now back with what happened to Jirota's arm. Jirota, having lost his right hand when it was drawn into the cursed arm, faded in and out of consciousness with a high fever for 3 days and nights, crying out as he slept. When he finally awoke, not only had his strength returned, but he also spoke of feeling as if he had been reborn in some way. I'm not really sure if that's good news or not, given that the cursed arm is that of the mountain snake god mixed with a priestess. If it accepted your flesh and blood as an offering, Jirota, you may no longer be human. According to Kenju, the currently injured and sleeping serpent, and the eaten and absorbed younger priestess, were now roughly embodying an equivalent existence. This kind of thing doesn't happen too often, but it seems like these two mingled entities are competing as two separate mountain gods and maintaining a strange form of equilibrium. It seems like you've become a third entity that disrupts that balance. Of the mountain gods, it's said that there are many goddesses who are prone to jealousy. Some might say you've wed yourself into the mountain's lineage. I've also heard stories of men who are particularly favored by goddesses and will receive divine blessings, in exchange for no longer being able to have relationships with women. Do you know why that might be? No one is able to extend their hand out to that which belongs to the mountain god. Basically, you've now become a part of the mountain god's family, a sort of living god, if you will. I'm really not sure what my place is to engage in this matter from this point forward, or how this relates to that newly created slumbering half-human, half-snake mountain god. But you were the one. It seems like she's accepted, so I'll leave it to you. Right. Okay, interesting, and I wonder, since he cannot have kids, it would seem, and we're not going to have his legacy passed on in that way, other than forming the Hirahiro Shrine, which we could assume he forms the shrine with the entangled arms and stuff. Other than forming up that, I wonder what is it that he does from here. And we're back to the present. Cultural festival. If you tell your teacher about a preparation day ahead of time, they'll let you work at school until nighttime. One-chan's going to be staying there late today. I see. Well, that at least sounds like something out of the ordinary. It might even be more fun than the festival itself. I know what you mean. That leads me to this. My mom lent me her dance step generation, so let's have a dance battle. I've got a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to be forced to do the most humiliating thing ever. I feel like it'd be difficult for Dara-san to Dara-Dara dance. I feel like with the snake legs, not exactly easy. But this must be the reference from the ending. And we have 27th Strange Encounter. And yep, and ooh whoa, ooh boy, elementary school boy wife. Oh my god. Oh, by the way, it doesn't particularly matter what you do with your upper body. Tell me that sooner. She's getting embarrassed. So cute. But, damn. Doskebe for real. And also, the detail. They added, the hair to Dara-san here. I did not notice that. I feel like we have seen her armpits before, though. And they weren't like that, right? Or am I just misremembering? Or did they just decide, hey, we're going 4K for this one? But either way, we're cutting off to the school, I guess? Who was it? Who came up with the idea of a robot maid cafe? Hello? Yes? How many mystery meters are left? They're just next to the blackboard in the back. Maybe 4? Mr. Yamatagi-mata, the spirit form, only able to slurp a little spiritual energy at a time after taking unexpectedly heavy damage the other night. Come to think of it, this school is pretty old, right? Do you think it's got its own 7 mysteries? That kind of thing only exists in manga. Then translators note an urban legend that a school has 7 mysterious legends or paranormal stories associated with it. Actually, it does. Yuchi, Club Supervisor Busujima Yuko. Don't you mean Busujima-sensei? I brought snacks. That's what I'm talking about, Yuchi! You really don't listen to me at all. So, who's that famous guy that people count as one of the 7 mysteries again? The whole thing with the Kinjiro Ninamiya statues? We don't have one. They never built one here, right? Then translators note statues of the famous agricultural leader and philosopher installed in schools across Japan are commonly rumored to come alive and walk around at night. Not quite. Instead, there was a statue built for the 20th anniversary of the school's founding. It was trimmed down and corrected as soon as it was built, as it was deemed to be an inappropriate size. But when you look at it from the staff window at midnight, they say that her bust returns to its original size. First mystery, big-tittied statue visible from the staff room. I mean, a mysterious phenomenon is a mysterious phenomenon, but I'm scared of your work environment if you're still there at midnight to see that. What about the music room? With the piano that starts playing by itself? Not real. What about the 13th stairwell? Not real. Wait, wasn't that one the 13th step on the stairs? Do you really think you can come up with 7 whole mysteries just kicking back like that? Whoever said anything about there being 7? What a creepy face. Wasn't there something about a mirror? Ah, right. At 4:44 after midnight, if you set up another mirror to look into it, you'll be able to see a reflection of your own dead self and your soul will get sucked out. The mirror at the entrance to the staff room. The staff room again, huh? Well done for finding that gimmick. Second mystery, death by staff room mirror. That outcome's more intense than I thought it'd be. Aren't there any other ones that are a bit safer to experience? It's not there anymore, but there was a moving anatomy model. Whew, that's just scary to look, or that's scary just to look at. Of a carp. A carp? Third mystery, the moving anatomy model. The pieces kept flopping around and getting strewn all over the floor, and it was so annoying to clean up that eventually a teacher on the night shift got so pissed that they threw it into the river. I guess that's a physical solution. Weak. Other than that, well, it's good that this one's pretty harmless, but at dusk, inside the dimly lit school building after all of the other students have left, when there should be nobody still around, the sound of slippers scraping against the floor in the staff room. Why is that where these all end up? Fourth mystery, the strange sound of footsteps near the staff room. That sound isn't even that scary normally. It is scary. And we see Dara-san looking in. Unlike Kaoru's elementary school, which is easy to see from the mountain, the middle school's tough to see from this distance. Even under normal circumstances, schools are peculiar, closed-off communities. The way thoughts fill that confined space is similarly peculiar and spiritually unstable. As a result, it's more likely that the area will become distorted. Distorted places invite distorted monsters. If Hinata were to stay in a spiritually rich area like that past sunset, something might end up getting drawn to her. Again, because she is probably the most spiritually powerful human we've seen so far. We don't know what's going on with Nagi, how she might be hiding her powers, but Hinata seems to just be naturally really strong. There's still that super famous one. You mean, you couldn't mean, not at our school, if you knock on the door 3 times. Ooh, when you call out, Hanako-san? Well, it's usually Murakoso Hanako-sensei who'll come out. I don't really think that counts as a mysterious phenomenon. I guess her desk is close to the door. What's this now? Staff room again, huh? Doesn't count. Well, I guess that's about it. The 4 mysteries. That sounds pretty lame. Now then, and one of them isn't even around anymore. Yeah, it's getting late, so I'll help you finish this ASAP. I'd also like to get out of here soon. Aye aye. Ah, so this is where you were, Musajima-sensei. Murakoso-sensei. It's just Class 3A and this room here that are left, so considering the time, it's about time to... Yeah, I understand. We can finish up what's left tomorrow morning. Get going. Whew. Is anyone walking home from here? Biking. Yeah, walking. Biking. Alright then, flashlights for the walkers. Get them back to me soon. You got it. As for you, Hinata, well, it pains me that we must part now, but I'll see you again tomorrow. Hehehe, see you tomorrow. They're finally heading back. Guess I was worried over nothing. Now that I think of it, which class is Hanako-sensei in charge of again? Who knows? Maybe she's an assistant teacher, or only part-time. True. We'll have to ask Yuichi about it tomorrow. Right. I kinda feel like we might have had this conversation before. That's so? What was the answer? Did I even ask the question in the first place? Well, whatever. Even Hinata couldn't notice it. No, just being there is what it seems to have solely specialized in. For her to have realized something was strange for even just a moment is rather impressive. Okay, so is Hanako actually a spiritual being? And the only one who can notice that there's something wrong with it is Hinata because of her spiritual senses. But for everybody else, Hanako is so good at pretending to just be a normal human or whatever, nobody can tell that Hanako is actually paranormal. Everybody just thinks of it as a normal thing because it's so good at blending in. To be invisible means to conceal one's appearance, but sometimes one can be invisible and still perceptive to the 5 senses. Well, I should probably head home if that's alright with you. I can leave the last patrol to you. Murakoso-sensei? Yes. To be hidden by information. There exists one such invisibility that prevents the recognition of a sense of discomfort. So this is interesting. I brought it up before, bringing in more paranormal stuff. Like Murakoso is an actual paranormal entity. Kind of the 3rd we've seen so far. I guess technically only 2nd if you count Dara-san and the snake as the same person. But then, I'm already pretty used to doing the nightly rounds, and wow, I love her design. The freckles are great. So, she's only really capable of and interested in blending in with people, huh? When times change, interesting people always seem to appear. 5th mystery, Hanako-san of the staff room, instead of the toilets. So, very fun chapter. I actually love this. I think that the whole 7 mysteries of the school and the, high school horror, or I guess in this case middle school horror type thing is a really fun vibe for anything, but to do their own thing with it, the comedy was really, really, really good. And again, like I said, it just deepens the world building of this small town. And again, just the small town, rural Japan setting, dealing with the horror stuff and the paranormal stuff is really, really good. So yeah, I loved this chapter again. The art was great as always again. And the intro has me interested in where we're going with Jurota now. Because where we left off, I'm like, okay, is he just gonna establish the shrine? What happens at this point? Especially since it can't be too much that directly interacts with Dara-san. given that Dara-san doesn't directly remember it. Though again, she didn't have much of her sense of self back then. But either way, we are 2 chapters down. Let's go check out chapter 28. Chapter 28, we're back in the flashback as usual. On the night of the tragedy, the townspeople saw a shadow stretching over their homes. It was said to be the younger priestess killed by some of the villagers who repaid her kindness with cruelty, mixed with the serpent who was furious at the villagers for defying him, combining to form a great demon. The surviving villagers were filled with feelings of awe and reverence towards Yamatagi Madara. Indeed, with its characters changed, that name had taken on a new meaning. The Ya changed from valley to roof. Okay. Got it. So from the valley straddling serpent to the roof straddling serpent, we've heard both. Okay. Now that this new Yamatagi Madara was the only immediate threat, Kenju and Jurota began cooperating with the villagers. The first items to deal with were the cursed arms left behind by the priestess. Alongside the existing location and means by which the left arm of the mountain was enshrined, he built a shrine to enshrine his own right arm that had confined the curse in its stone self. It's said that some of the cost was borne by the government, which had heard about the gruesome tragedy from the inspectors that had gone to examine the scene. Okay, sorry, I just had to take that in. Though the shrine and Hokora had no name, and then Hokora is a miniature shrine, they were filled with a sense of dedication to the worship of the priestess. Before they knew it, people started calling her Kannagi-san. It was then that she began to be called as such, and Kannagi is synonymous with priestess or Miko. Okay, so this is just like the old term basically for Miko. So the Kannagi part isn't her name, it's just saying they're worshipping the priestess. But we'll see how that ends up morphing into the current god's name, and how or if that will be related to Dara-san's human name. As if having fulfilled his duty, Kenju peacefully drew his last breath. It was the autumn of the 5th year since he had set out with Jurota. When you first came to him, he'd said that he only had a couple of years left in him. He really hung in there. It's not your fault. A few days before he passed away, Kenju passed a message to Jurota. After I'm gone, listen to her. The name of that girl who gave up her name at 13 was Nagi. Okay, interesting. And her face almost reminds me of the teacher from last time, so it's like, we might have a character descended from her, or maybe the current Nagi is just descended, because we know Nagi's real name is Sayako, right? So she is the first in the line of the priestesses of the shrine that take on the name Nagi. Okay then. She was very perceptive, a child prodigy. Kenju bequeathed everything to her, and she would become Jurota's third mentor. So it is interesting then, we've got the Shrine Maiden family system where the name Nagi is passed down, and that is Sayako's family. But then we also have the Tomita family who takes care of all of the eastern stuff, and the Misogiya family who takes care of the western stuff. But we haven't talked about the Tomita or Misogiya stuff in the flashback yet, so Jurota could end up being one or the two. His grave is on the eastern side with Dara-san's remains. So, and the shrine with him is on the eastern side too. But that was where Dara-san's original, shrine was. So he could be a Tomita or he could be a Misogiya, but maybe that's something else for us to start establishing in the flashbacks. Like now we're establishing the Nagi system and potentially Nagi family if all of the Nagis are descended from this original one. But that's all we get this time. We have 28 Strange Encounter, and we start off with Hinata and her friends. Again, I love the variety in all the designs. Cultural festival, yay. Okay, we're gonna see the cultural festival this time. Maybe. So yeah, that's what One-chan's up to, but school on a Saturday? I get it. I get it, but is it really alright for you to not show up? Oh, I already went. I went in at 9 in the morning so they would all fuss over me. Then I came back. This kid, he knows how to play to his strengths all too well. So, what made you come here, leaving in the middle of a festival like that? I couldn't get my luggage over the fence, so I left it nearby. Can you come with me? Then they head back over the fence. Luggage. Menacing. It looks like an entire table. Oh, but no, then he starts setting it up. Our very own mountain cultural festival. If he has the strength to carry all this up a mountain, couldn't he use that for something better? Okay, fine. You brought a stool out, so I'll pack up my legs. But you can't just stop there, since this is an extension of the Ojin North Elementary School. You'll need to turn into a grade schooler if you please. Didn't I say that I'm bad at transforming? He really has been. So at first, you know, the Lollibaba way of speaking was brought up by Hinata, and he's like, she's no lolly. But then in the volume extras, he was like, no, we need Dara-san Mesogaki Cafe. So, does he want Mesogaki Dara-san? Then, let's do our best. What's with that weird condescending attitude? Well, that being said, many mountain spirits do take the form of women and children to deceive travelers, fortunately enough. That serpent was probably the same at one time. If I can awaken that dormant, ancient magic deep inside me, casting the same spell twice can make it unstable, and now Tomitakana's gonna be so much more jealous if she ever sees Dara-san. And you didn't bring any children's clothes, did you? Goof-foo-foo-foo, we've got some right here. I mean, just the usual Kaoru clothes would work. You've come so far from those days when you used to roam the mountainside completely naked. My, how you've grown, because she cared about clothes. Don't say that like I was some kind of weird or wild animal. You really didn't have anything else? Of course I do. You don't think I brought the lewdest outfit I had, did you? He's so proud. Anyway, you shouldn't be cooking anything with fire, I guess. This thing's mostly made of paper. Don't worry, no fire. So, of course, you didn't have anything else. Of course I have something else. And then you would think, other than this, he brought the lewdest outfit then. Here's the Maid Cafe menu. Then drink and soup included for the lunch set. There's only one option. I'd like that one then, please. And then he starts making it. This is the Misagiya Household Special Brutal Blend Coffee. Brutal Blend. So bitter. A bit too grown up for you, huh? I'll add some milk and sugar. Great, now I'm just drinking milk. Oh, this is good. It's better with milk. So cute. And then bringing out the pre-made Tupperware container of rice. And finishing the instant curry, it looks like. Your meal. That thermostat is super versatile. It's medium hot flavor. By the way, it's the pinnacle of humanity's accumulated wisdom, curry rice. Is that really a grade schooler's vocabulary? Honestly, it doesn't look particularly good from my perspective, but... And then, immediately, this super 5-pack set is on sale for only 398 yen. Huh? Of course, the cheap instant food being the best. This is so cute. It's a cheap pre-made meal and it turned out like this? Even though your expression was exaggerated, this may actually be the fruit of all humanity's wisdom. He. I take it nobody ever gave you an offering of curry before, huh? I suppose not. I'd seen it before, but this was my first time actually eating it. Ah, in that case, next time you should come and try something that doesn't come in a pouch. And Chio shows up. Mom, why are you on the mountain? Well, you see, you were carrying some pretty big luggage up the mountain. More importantly, I've never seen this kid before. Is she one of your friends? I'm Yamada. Yamada-san? Kaoru, doesn't she look like the young woodworker from the flea market? She even has the same last name. This is her little sister. You lie as easily as you breathe. I see. Even so. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't play on the mountain with your friends, but you're too close to the fence. Why don't you try playing a bit further back? Oopsie. You'll have to give your dear mother some coffee as punishment. Would you like it black, miss? I can't calm down, thinks Dara-san. What's your first name? Huh, this is Kayano-chan. Then Kayano can be vaguely read as from the temple. That's not the kind of name an elementary schooler could make up on the spot. Kayano-chan, have you heard anything about this mountain? I've heard that there's a scary god called Yama Omatagi-sama. That's right. That land deep in the mountain belongs to the gods. If you enter it, you'll be cursed. That's what's been passed down by the elders of the oldest families in town. In reality, nobody knows what that god actually does. I don't really think it's that scary. So keep playing with Kaoru without worrying about it, okay? Okay. Kaoru, I know that you and Hinata have secretly been playing in the heart of the mountain. You might have even already met Yamatagi Madara. What? Were you scared? Not at all. I mean, I probably won't be able to see her, or I probably won't be able to see her anymore. But maybe, while you're out on the mountain, if you come across that god living in solitude and find that she's distracted by your playing there, I'd still have to scold you, but it'd at least make your mother a little happy. It looks like I'm still tangled up in this unfamiliar spell. So, Dara-san is still trapped in lolly form. Whoa, and Hinata's just laughing at her. By the way, Dara couldn't return to normal until a few days later. Super cute. I want to see more of Chiyo and Dara-san. I really, really, really want to see more. I'm so interested. You could say if they do too much Chiyo and Dara-san, it takes away from the relationship with Hinata and Kaoru, but I still would like to see more. I love last chapter that we got into more of the supernatural stuff. So I am excited for that. Sorry, I just always like scrolling back up through the chapter as I'm discussing, just in case there's anything I want to bring up again. And the panels of Dara-san eating the curry are so cute. So cute. But also the very beginning, I think the reveal of the Nagi stuff is good. So we still have stuff to do in the flashback where we could figure out what's going on with her character and how she could lead to the, generations of other Nagi. And also, we still have to get into who the Misugiya and Tomita actually are to become the people who take care of the mountains. And if they could be related to Jirota at all. But either way, great set of 3 chapters. I think all 3 of them were amazing. Again, this series does such a great job of world building this small town. I think the setting is great. I think the comedy is great. The character interactions are amazing. The art's amazing. I think every single aspect of it I am satisfied with. Every aspect of this series I just think is operating at such a high level. It's been so, so good. It's really, really been one of my favorite things to read. By a long shot as well. Like, I have had some things that I've read on the channel that I love. I really, really love. Even to this day, I'm so glad I covered them, or potentially even still cover them. But this is up there as one of, my new favorites that I've covered on the channel. It is so amazing. And we still get to do more. I think once I catch up to volume releases, I'm not sure if I'll read weekly chapters or if I'll just wait until a new volume comes out. That way I can read it along with the volume specials. But then again, these chapters this week, I didn't have the volume specials. It was just at the end of the chapters. So I guess maybe I'll just read how I want to read. I'll miss out on the volume specials, and that'll just be something that I read when I buy the physical volumes, because again, I've got physical 1 through 3, and as the rest come out, I love this so much that I'll definitely want to get them physically and support the mangaka and the translators and everybody else. And so, of course, as always, support the mangaka. You can probably follow them on Twitter and stuff, I'm assuming. Again, yeah, you can, and support them on Fanbox and everything, and maybe get some. I have seen some, what is it? Some promotional posts. Maybe I should support that way so I can see what some of the, promotional posts actually lead to. I can see the uncensored, but you can support that way. Again, I have, because of the inauthentic behaviors bans, I've been gone from Twitter for over a month, but you could follow that way. And of course, support the scan leaders and all, because they are doing a great job with this. So yeah, with all that aside, it's all been amazing. Thank you for being here. I'm going to end the video. So if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of these chapters or my first thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more Reiwa no Dara-san, much more on the channel. If you would like to help support the channel by sharing around or dropping a super thanks, it's appreciated. If you'd like to help support the channel, get your name at the end of videos and get One Piece Bingo early, then hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or link be in the description to become a patron. Thank you so much to people who are already members and patrons. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan, Holly, and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls, Dee Man, and Maru, Cheriton Student, David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Paterial. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.